It was supposed to be another flawless night aboard the superyacht, glittering seas, flawless service, and smiles as polished as the silverware. But for Chief Stew Aesha Scott, this night would be different. This was the night she'd have to do the unthinkable, say no to a guest. Aesha's reputation in the yachting world is nearly unmatched. The woman is practically the definition of calm under pressure. She's seen it all, demanding primaries, chaotic guests, and moments where the line between service and self-respect blurs. But on Below Deck Mediterranean Season 10, Episode 4, the line became crystal clear. The night started off perfectly. The crew had just wrapped an extravagant 8-course dinner. Fine wines, plated artistry, and a service level worthy of 7 stars. The guests were full, the kitchen was spotless, and Chef Josh Bingham, who'd been on his feet for nearly 20 hours, was ready to call it a night. And then came the request. Primary guest Jack Freeman, a face Aesha knew all too well from her Below Deck Down Under days, leaned back, smiled, and said the words that would turn the night upside down. I could really go for some Sichuan chicken. It was 1 a.m. The galley fell silent. Josh's head slowly turned toward Aesha. The exhaustion in his eyes said it all. He was done. Completely done. For a split second, Aesha hesitated. After all, their motto is clear. We never say no. 7-star service. Whatever the guest wants, they get. That's the rule. But there's a small invisible line written in the fine print of every luxury charter contract. Within reason. And this request? This was not within reason. So Aesha made a decision. One that would ripple through the entire episode and earn her massive respect from fans around the world. She leaned in with her signature calm, sweet tone and said, Jack, maybe think of something that'll only take like 10 minutes to cook. It's already 1 a.m., and my chef's been up for 20 hours. A polite boundary. Firm, but fair. Josh looked relieved, even grateful. Aesha wasn't just a chief stew that night. She was a leader protecting her crew. Jack sighed, thought for a moment, and finally compromised. All right then, how about some melted shaved Parmesan fries with truffles? Done. Simple, fast, and elegant. But what happened next turned the whole night into a twist that no one saw coming. Josh, running on fumes, whipped up the fries, golden, crispy, sprinkled with truffles and melted Parmesan. They looked like something straight out of a Michelin star menu. Aesha carried the plate with pride and relief, walking it up to the deck where Jack was lounging. She smiled as she placed it down. Oh my God, that looks amazing, Jack said. But then came the gut punch. But I'm not even hungry anymore. Aesha froze. Josh had just stayed up even longer to make food that no one would touch. Inside, Aesha's patience burned like a fuse. But outwardly, she smiled, the professional mask never slipping. Because that's who she is, composed, polished, unflappable. Still, the moment hit her hard. Back in the galley, she told Josh softly, I was just like, this man is not staying up. Fans watching could feel it, that balance between grace and grit. Aesha didn't just protect her chef. She reminded everyone watching that even in luxury service, there's a line where humanity has to come first. If you're loving this kind of real below-deck drama, where crew members finally take a stand and moments get real, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more inside stories from the wildest yachts on the Med. Because, trust me, this is just the beginning. Because what Aesha revealed next, off the yacht, would make fans see her in a completely new light. The night of the Parmesan fries may have ended quietly, but the moment didn't fade for Aesha Scott. It lingered, because what the cameras caught that night wasn't just another below-deck hiccup. It was a turning point in how Aesha approached her entire yachting career. You see, Aesha wasn't always this confident, this unshakable. Back in her early yachting days, she was trained in the old-school way. Even if a guest spits in your face, you smile and say, yes, ma'am. That was the golden rule. Service without limits. Smile, no matter what. But after years of navigating high seas and higher tempers, Aesha learned something no manual could teach. Boundaries don't break professionalism. They define it. And that lesson? It came hard-earned. Fans remember her early seasons, the bright, bubbly second stew who could charm any guest and turn chaos into comedy. But being chief stew means more than napkin folds and cocktail smiles. It means leading, protecting your team, balancing grace with grit. So when Aesha stood her ground against Jack's late-night craving, she wasn't just saying no. She was saying enough. Enough of the sleepless chefs, the silent exhaustion, the endless push to please. Because at some point, good service becomes great when you add heart. And Aesha's heart? It's always been the compass guiding her through every storm. In her confessional that episode, she admitted it plainly. "So no, I'm sorry. I've got to protect my chef. He's been up for 20 hours. He needs sleep." Those words might sound simple, but in the world of Below Deck, where reputation and luxury rule, they're revolutionary. But what makes Aesha different isn't just how she handles chaos, it's why she does it. Later in an interview, she opened up about the truth behind working in two different worlds, Below Deck Down Under and Below Deck Mediterranean. The Med, she explained, is next-level service. It's 7-star, high-end, the best you can possibly give. But in Australia, it's a bit more relaxed. Guests laugh more. There's sunshine, there's humor. But in the Med, it's all precision. Every glass, every glance, everything must be perfect. And that difference? It shaped her. Because no matter where she's sailing, the Mediterranean or the Great Barrier Reef, Aesha never loses her sense of humanity. She knows that service is about connection, not submission. That's why fans adore her, not just for her smile, but for her strength. And speaking of strength, that wasn't the first time Aesha had to stand her ground with guests. Rewind to season 9. Another demanding charter. Guests nitpicking everything, from deck furniture to caviar that tasted like a washcloth. But one moment topped them all. A guest looked down at her table setting and asked sharply, "Why do I have a butter knife?" Aesha didn't flinch. She smiled and replied, "That's a fish knife." And then, with that signature calm confidence, she added, "I've worked in service a very long time. That's a fish knife." It was subtle, classy, and a total mic drop. That moment made it to the Below Deck Med after show, where Aesha told former Chief Stew Kate Chastain, "I got to school her and tell her it was a fish knife. It was the first time I actually stood my ground a bit. And it felt really good." It wasn't about ego. It was about respect, both for herself and for the crew she represents. That's what makes Aesha so magnetic to watch. She's not dramatic for attention. She's authentic for survival. And it's that authenticity that's taken her from a second stew on Below Deck Med seasons 4 and 5 to Chief Stew on Down Under and back to the Mediterranean for seasons 9 and 10. A full circle journey across two oceans, but with one core principle: integrity first. When she was asked recently why she came back to the Med, her answer was pure Aesha. Honest, grounded, real. It's purely just that I love the Med. That's where my yachting heart is. That's the kind of answer that reminds you why fans keep coming back. Not just for the yachts or the drama, but for people like her. Because beneath the champagne and chaos, Below Deck has always been about human connection. About people like Aesha, who prove that kindness doesn't mean weakness. She knows when to serve, and she knows when to stand up. So when Jack's untouched fries sat glistening under the yacht's lights, that moment wasn't just about wasted food. It was symbolic. A quiet declaration of boundaries in a world that often forgets them. That plate of fries was more than just a snack. It was Aesha's stand for every exhausted crew member, every overworked chef, every yachtie who's ever wondered, do I have the right to say no? The answer, Aesha proved, is yes, within reason. And that's the phrase that's come to define her legacy. So next time you see her walking through the yacht corridors, that confident stride and that easy laugh, remember, every smile carries a story, and every no she says carries the strength of every yes she's ever given. Aesha Scott didn't just serve luxury, she redefined it. If you've ever worked in service, if you've ever stayed up late just to make someone else's life easier, this story's for you. Because at the end of the day, respect isn't given, it's earned. And Aesha, she's earned every bit of it. So tell me, what would you have done in her place that night? Would you have stayed up to make that Sichuan chicken, or drawn the line like Aesha did? Drop your thoughts below. I read every single comment. And if you love stories of strength, leadership, and behind-the-scenes drama from Below Deck's wildest seasons, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because there are more untold stories sailing your way.